You guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
We are here with JJ Weir and Jared Jackal with Nexa Mortgage. Wanted to get them on here and kind of show what they do as mortgage brokers. That's kind of different from just your normal mortgage banker or even just your local credit union. So, fellas, take it away.
Perfect. My name is JJ Weir. I am a loan officer with Nexa Mortgage.
My name is Jared Jackal. I'm also a loan officer with Nexa Mortgage, and this is my business partner, JJ.
Yep. So what we wanted to do is first tell you how we got into the business. So I will let Jared start.
I started at my first mortgage company when I was about 23, and I've been a licensed loan officer for 8 years.
Yep. And then I actually got in about a year after him. I was living in Kansas City at the time and had 3 daughters. And I saw Jared joining the business and was doing well. And so I had an opportunity that arose. And so sold my house, moved back to Wichita to be closer to some family, and became a mortgage lender.
I did not know that you lived in Kansas City at one point.
Yeah.
So I mean, you were there for all the Chiefs games then.
Being a Falcons fan, I made it out to a couple, but not all of them.
So
and that was before they had Mahomes too.
That is true. So you witnessed the 2-14 season.
That's right.
Stuff like that. So what would you say is kind of different about Nexa being a broker that you couldn't just go down to your local bank and say, hey, I want to do this?
Yeah. Well, the first thing that I would say is one thing that's different about us is rather than being individual loan officers, we actually decided to team up just to provide better service to all the clients that we work with. Most of the action in real estate happens after 5 o'clock during the weeks or during the weekend, over the weekend. So we teamed up that way we can make sure one person was always available to get qualified, to run numbers for you. That way, if you need to make an offer over the weekend, you can get some quick service.
Yeah. So basically, whenever somebody hires you, or like we send you somebody to say, hey, this person's looking at buying a house, it's not just you, or it's not just you. You guys team up, and if you're not available, then we can get a hold of Jared, or vice versa. If Jared's not available, we can get a hold of you.
Exactly. So, and we did that intentionally. Jared has a fiance. I mentioned I had 3 daughters. So if we have obligations, as everyone does with family, we make sure one person's available to take care of you guys.
Awesome. Well, that's two's normally better than one. So
yeah, 2-for-1 deal. So circling back to Nexa Mortgage, I will let Jared tell a little bit about what's different about being a broker.
Yeah.
So what we do is when we look at a client's situation, we have multiple investors that we work with. Our company's partnered with over 200 different lending companies. So it's easy for us to say, give people more yeses, just because everyone's situation has a lender that offers financing for that. Whereas some banks or credit unions maybe only deal with a small portion of situations. Whereas us, it doesn't matter whether you're self-employed, if you own a business, if you think your credit score is really good, or if you think your credit score is not so good, we have different companies that are going to be able to still lend on that.
So say that you have somebody come to you, and I know that with like FHA, you can go down to like 500 in some cases. That typically requires a higher down payment, right? So, but you guys have people that can work with that.
Yeah, we at least have the option, and that was part of the reason that we joined Nexa, just because being partnered with over 200 lenders, when we have that client that is self-employed and writes off everything in taxes, it's nice to be able to have loan options available for them as well.
Yeah, and to circle back to that, we still have lenders that offer minimum down at 500 credit scores. So let's say we take that client situation to that lender and run the approval there. If they say no, it's like, hey, we might check to another one that maybe requires a little more money down till we find that yes. So we'll take a person's situation and shop multiple lenders for them, and to help better answer that as well.
So to hit on what you just said, is that kind of like with a car dealership where if they're going to take your credit to a bunch of different places that you're going to get hit, 35 times or?
No.
Nope, that is the nice thing. When you apply, we have to get you fully qualified. We do a hard inquiry on your credit, but that credit report's valid for up to 90 days, and then we actually can take your application to multiple lenders to see which one's going to offer you the best terms or offer you, a loan program that will allow you to qualify and move forward.
So you pull it once and then you take that to
Yep.
your each individual lender.
Yep.
Okay.
When they apply with us, that is through our system. We are uploading those documents to their portal if that's where the client is deciding to finalize their loan with. So they don't
Okay.
require us to update anything to their specific credit pulls or any of that.
Gotcha. That's nice because I talk to people all the time and they're like, well, I don't want my credit ran a bunch of times because we're right there on the edge, and it's one thing that people care about.
Yeah. Well, as you should. It takes a while to build that
Right.
up. So.
Yep. Exactly.
We even have the ability to do soft pulls. That is not a hard inquiry if they just have some basic questions or want basic information. So they can talk to us without even having to do anything official or have a hard credit inquiry as well.
So what is a soft pull then? What does that look like?
It's essentially, it would be the same process. They would fill out an application, but then rather than us doing the hard inquiry and their credit gets hit to where we get them fully qualified, we do a soft pull, which does not affect credit. It allows us to see what is all on the credit report, see what the score is, and then it allows us to give a rough idea. Hey, you can qualify for this much. This is what your monthly payments would look like. It's a good way for if you have someone or if you're thinking about buying in maybe 6 months, but you want to know what a mortgage payment would look like now, or if you can qualify now, well, you can still apply with us. We can do that soft inquiry. We can tell you, hey, you can qualify for this much. This is what the monthly payments look like, and you don't have to worry about your credit getting hit now. And then as we get closer to the time that you want to buy, that's when we can do our hard inquiry and get you fully qualified.
That's nice then.
Yeah.
So then, they don't have to worry about that hitting their credit, and then, that being on there for
Exactly.
what would it stay on there for, like 2 years or
I think
3
it's
years?
12 months or 24 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's nice then.
Yep.
What other kind of things, I guess, make you guys different than?
Yeah. Well, I know one thing I want to make sure I mention is, one of the most common questions that we get asked is if it's a good time to buy. Which, it's something, being in the business as long as we have, seeing what the market has done over the last, 7 years, our answer is always, rather than trying to time the market and wait for a good time to buy, just gauge it off of what you're wanting to do for your family.
Yeah.
Or yourself. So if you're wanting to invest in a home, don't try and time the market. I have had people that back during COVID, when rates were at an all-time low, they thought that house prices were going to go down, and they just continued to go up.
Yeah.
And so because of that, they waited 2-3 years trying to time the market, and now the same house that they could have gotten 2-3 years ago is $30,000, $50,000 more, and rates are more than double what they were
Right.
3 years ago. So I would say if you're asking if it's a good time to buy, I would say think about what's best for you. And if you want to purchase a home, just invest in it sooner. You can always refinance the terms of your mortgage later.
Isn't there? You were telling me about this deal called like a recast. So say that somebody gets a chunk of change, 6 months, a year down the road. Could they put that towards their house and then essentially like redo their mortgage? Like how does that work?
So basically, in our world, it's called a recast. If generally it's about 12 months. If you know that maybe right now you just have a little bit of money to purchase the property, but hey, in 6 months I'm going to be getting an inheritance, or maybe your CD will mature, and you'll have a lump sum of money that you'd like to apply towards the principal balance of the loan. In our world, it's called a recast. So obviously you have to let us know that up front so we can structure it that way. But they'll let you put a lump sum down and actually re-amortize the loan. So you can still buy a house with a little bit of cash you have today, and then down the road, put more money down to where you can get that payment lower and potentially get out of mortgage insurance as well.
Yeah. So that's one of those things that's kind of nice. Like if you do have a CD or you have, something maturing, then you have that down the road a little bit, but you found the house you want today. You can go and get that house.
Exactly. And then you get to enjoy the benefits of that lower monthly payment.
Yeah.
And go from there.
Yep. That's a good thing.
So, and then a few other things that make Nexa a little bit different. He mentioned all the different lenders that we work with. I would say one thing that is the worst at being a loan officer is when you have someone that comes to you and you don't have any loan programs available.
Yeah.
So one thing that is great that makes it different is, again, having the lenders that will go down to a 500 credit score with a little more down.
Yeah.
Lenders that are competitive. They want you to work with them, so they're offering more competitive rates. That way, you can enjoy the benefit of a lower payment.
Yeah.
And as Larry will tell you, sometimes you don't realize that your situation is perfect for something that a mortgage broker would offer, like a bridge loan, for example. When you're listing a house, how many times do you have people tell you, "Hey, I would love to buy a house, but I don't want to have to get my house on the market, try to find a house, it's too stressful." But then they find out, oh, well, I can just buy the new house and then sell my old house, and that pays off, my bridge loan to make, selling and buying extremely simple versus stressful. Hey, got to get stuff packed up. Your date on the sell is this date, then you got to move to the new house on this date, and things like that can make the process stress-free for people.
Yeah.
Plus having programs, lenders are constantly rolling out new programs. So we just had one roll out a zero down conventional option, which is great. We have multiple lenders that offer down payment assistance programs. So it's just nice to have a variety of lenders that are constantly trying to innovate and bring new products to clients to help them into homes.
Which that adds to why being a broker is very beneficial, especially Nexa Mortgage, because they are one of the largest mortgage brokers. Is we are going to get the products first. So versus not all of your retail mortgage lenders are going to have access to products or be able to. They don't just sign up with a different company that offers it. Whereas with Nexa Mortgage, they're competing for our business, so they want to make sure they're rolling out the most beneficial product, offering the lowest rate, things like that. So like when the zero down conventional came out, we had it day one.
Nice. So I think, kind of the final question that I have is, being in the business for this long, we all have some crazy stories. What's your craziest lending story that you're allowed to talk about?
Let's see.
I had to think hard on this one.
Give me a second, because we got to make sure we're treading lightly on that. Craziest lending story. Oh, you know what? I had one. I had a buyer that was actually under contract. They were purchasing a house. The sellers were renting it out, and their lease was expiring, and then the renter actually just refused to leave the house. So we ended up having to extend the closing about 3 weeks. There was quite a few colorful situations that popped up over the course of those 3 weeks, but they did finally get the renter out of the house so the buyer could move in. So that was a pretty unique scenario there.
That's tough because you don't want to go through the hassle of eviction and all that, because that costs money.
Yeah.
But I would assume that they probably had to go through that, or
they
maybe.
Did. And the thing was, it was agreed upon by the seller and the renter. The lease was coming up. It was something that everything was amicable until last minute it wasn't. So.
Yeah. Sometimes it's all good until it's not.
Yeah. So that was a pretty unique one.
I had a recent one where right before closing, I was working obviously with the client that was purchasing the property. We found out that the seller, the title company, they were married and their spouse wasn't on the title work. so we had to get them added, get all that stuff. Well, problem is he wasn't available to sign. No big deal. We do mobile notaries, things like that. Well, we had a very long extension because the other party was actually in prison. And so we had to have, I don't know how they got that done actually, because I didn't handle it, but it was something with timing, being able to have someone set up a visit with him to be able to. So, do you know? So have you dealt with that before?
I can't say that I have.
Okay, yeah, that was the first for me, and that one was back in November.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We had one 4 or 5 years ago that the sellers, one of the owners of it, was overseas, and we had to deal with one of the embassies overseas.
Oh wow.
Because they were stuck over there.
Oh god.
That was interesting.
Ours took a few weeks, but I think it had to do with only one person was allowed to, I guess, schedule an appointment with the prison for him to be able to sign this or that, or however they worked that out. And so we extended like 2 or 3 weeks, and it closed, and there was no issues. Just I guess the lady didn't realize that her husband had to be on the loan. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
But it got done. But that was a recent crazy one.
Good. You guys have anything else?
Story wise?
Anything you wanna tell the people?
The only other thing that I'd want to make sure to mention is, if you're thinking about buying a house, even if you have questions and it's something you don't necessarily want to do today, even if you're thinking in a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, don't be scared to reach out. Just because it's something that we don't mind educating people, telling them hey, this is roughly what payments would look like. This is where you need credit to be. This is what you can do to help put yourself in a better position to qualify. That's something that we do every single day. So, our job is to be here to help you achieve what you're trying to achieve. So just feel free to reach out to Larry, reach out to myself, to Jared, because that's what we're here for. We're here to help you.
Yep. That I've had lots of people in the past that you guys have helped with credit and all that, and then got them to that point of actually being able to buy a house, and then setting them up with the loan, and then I help them find the house, and you guys would help them do the mortgage. And I mean, shoot, we've had one that, or a few that you guys have helped with credit, and it's been 6 months, a year down the road, and then you call and you're like, hey, we got so and so where they need to be, like, let's go get them a house.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's exactly what we're here for, and don't hesitate to reach out.
And sometimes it's just relieving the stress of knowing that you are approved, and that you can buy a house and you can afford the payments, and maybe you even have money saved up for the down payment, and it's just taking that stress of, hey, when you're ready, you can buy with no issues.
Yep. Well, cool. Thanks for joining me today, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And I'm Larry with LNH Homes, and this is JJ and Jared with Nexa Mortgage. If there's anything that we can do for you, don't hesitate to reach out. We're all over the place, so it's not hard to find us. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Stay classy, Wichita. I had to do that for the Ron Burgundy, right?